Hello everyone, thank you for joining this week's MSI demo. Today we have quite a lot of updates, pretty much as well as any other Friday. Lots of work has been done during this week aimed at fixing some of the existing bugs and issues, and we also managed to merge some of the performance-related pull requests. So we will be presenting some of this stuff tonight. I think we can start with the pull request created by Sergey Mutov, which was aimed at implementing correct source item deduction when creating credit memos for the yet unshipped orders. So Sergey was unable to join the call, so Slava kindly agreed to demonstrate how that works. Slava?
Hi everyone. So let me show this, demonstrate you this fix from Sergey. Let me share my screen. Here we are. So this fix dedicated to Refund, to creating Credit Memo for unshipped order. So I already have order placed with 10 items of simple product, and after placing order, I used to have originally 100 sellable quantity and 100 quantity on source, on default source here. So after placing order, I got deduction of sellable quantity to 10 items. Now let's see how it works. First, I need to invoice my order items. Here I submit which hopefully. And after I invoiced my items, I may do refund. I create a credit memo. And here I didn't do shipping for items. I decide to refund my money. And if we would check on return to stock, our sellable quantity should increase. But in case we didn't check this checkbox to return to the stock, we literally had nothing happen to the order and to the also to product. So we, as a result, we have uncompensated reservation in our table, and also quantity of product was not equal. Also, quantity on source was more than quantity sellable quantity. So Sergey fixed this, and after I do refund offline here, we suppose that our quantity deducted to 10 items and became equal to sellable quantity as well. It is. After I did refund, we have quantity on default source 90, sellable quantity is 90, and I go to check our reservation. I hope you may see that we have minus 10 reservation when order placed.
And I'm not sure what you're demonstrating now because I have a gray square on the screen.
You see nothing?
No, it just looks like there's a window covering most of the admin window.
Yeah, perhaps you're trying to show the database or something, I'm not sure, but it looks like a window which we don't see.
This is weird. Maybe one moment.
Slava, are you still with us? Oh, I see Slava is rejoining the call.
I'm sorry, I lost my connection suddenly. So I will show my window of. Do you see it now?
Yeah, we can see it now.
Yeah. Oh, great. So here I show you the what do I have an inventory reservation table. I have two reservations, one -10 for order placed, and +10 compensational reservation after credit memo created. I will try. Oh, actually, that's all. That's all fixed, and it's working well on custom stock as well, not only on default stock. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And even though Sergey is absent on the call today, thank you to Sergey for implementing this. This fix took some effort. It was not as simple as it may look like. But we already have it merged in 2.3 developed, so it will be definitely targeting the next release. Okay, so moving on to the next item on our agenda. This item is pretty major. Ricardo has been working on it for quite some time, and the main goal of the pull requests was to improve the performance, specifically on performance of saving the product. And the problem, one of the problems with that is the need to synchronize the legacy stock and the MSI stock. So Ricardo has come up with a sophisticated way to solve this issue, and I hope he will be able to present it.
Yeah, sure. So, well, let me share my screen so you can see something. So, yeah, you should see my my Magento backend. So, as you were saying before, I've been working on optimizing the product save through simplifying all the processes behind the legacy stock inventory. And one of the steps was to run it asynchronously. So, well, actually, in my pull request, there is a general optimization of this procedure. So you will benefit even with the synchronous process. But if you want, you can run this process asynchronously. So you just save the product, and the legacy stock is updated eventually. And you can configure this behavior by settings yes, no. So it's not so complex at the end. In the inventory legacy stock alignment configuration. And when you save the product, let's say I want to change my quantity to 500, I save it. The legacy alignment is not run immediately because I choose asynchronously, and you can see if it works, of course. Yeah, it is working. Yes, UP. On my left side of the screen, that is being handled by RabbitMQ, so it runs asynchronously. Of course, you have to start one new consumer that you can see here, that is legacy inventory synchronization, that is basically doing the magic. If you want to measure what are the benefits, basically here I have some results from my last tests. So without this pull request, updating 1,184 products took about 17 seconds on my machine. With this pull request running in a synchronous mode, it took just 4 seconds. So even running synchronously is a very good time-saving pull request. But if you run asynchronously, it's even less, so it's just 2 seconds. So I think it can be a nice improvement. And from the technical perspective, all is based on this main class that is synchronized. So I totally reworked all the model that was previously based on plugins, and each plugin was placed on the module that was aligning the the legacy inventory. Now we have one inventory legacy synchronization module that is handling all the communication to the legacy inventory. And one of the main classes is the synchronize that you can call. It's a single method class. Basically, we have an execute method, and you can specify destination. So basically, if you want to synchronize from MSI to inventory, to legacy inventory, of course, or from legacy inventory to MSI. And you can do it by simply specifying one of these constants. And you just pass the information. So if you're synchronizing from MSI, you just pass your source items as an array, of course. If you're doing from the opposite side, of course, you have just to pass the information from the legacy inventory. And that's it. It's a quite complex pull request because at the end, it is composed from a quite huge amount of files and line of codes. But it seems to be working. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricardo. I'm pretty sure that one more thing this pull request does is bringing us one step closer to the bright future where we potentially remove the legacy catalog inventory. And I'm pretty sure that there is like a piece of logic is now isolated, so we will be able to refactor MSI much quicker to be like the default solution, like the default and only solution, let's say.
Yeah, one of the idea behind creating one separate module was this. So basically, if you, for example, want now to just disable the legacy synchronization, potentially you could just turn this module off.
Thank you very much. And that's been a great presentation. And we can move on the next item to the agenda. And the next item on the agenda also relates to one of the big features currently being worked on, namely the store pickup. And for the store pickup, Alexander Kravchuk has implemented some really interesting item, which is immutable data transfer object, which is basically designed to be a projection from the source item to be used on the front end. So I think I'll pass the word to Alexander to provide some more details in it.
Yeah, thank you. So I will start to share my screen. Does it work?
Yep, we can see.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so cool. Yeah, today I'm going to tell something about almost immutable data transfer object for pickup location. As I think most know that we use sources and we use stocks. The difference that sources we use in the backend and stock are being used by customer on the front end. So the idea initial was to introduce a new entity for in-store pickup context, which will be a projection of sources to work with this entity on the front end. And this is what is this pull request about. So the idea is we introducing new interface for the new entity, and to receive data for this interface, we use a class mapper. So it take a source and with configuration, which named map, and transfer some fields from the source to a new pickup location. The fields can be simply configured with DI XML file. Also, the providing extensibility for pickup location. It will be done with extension attributes. So that's that point where we lose in immutability, because currently all fields except the extension attributes are immutable, but extension attributes they are mutable for their philosophy. But probably it will be solved in the Magento framework in the future. And also this file with the map is also support extension attributes from both sides. So you can take some values from extension attributes of source and put it into pickup location field, or you can take some value from also extension attribute from source and put it for extension attributes of pickup location. So it's everything about projection. Pull request is still in progress. There is some stuff need to be done, and it is it about this pull request.
Okay, I have a question. Thank you.
Yeah.
So at the moment, it's possible only to copy some fields from source to the pickup location, but there is no possibility to modify them during this process. Just interested.
This is a good question. This is a really good question. Modify, you mean during creating projection, yeah?
Yeah.
Why would you want to modify them?
It was just a question because it is interesting. Because it's just interesting. We have no need in that at the moment.
I think
just forget. Never mind.
We don't need to modify some data during projection. So I suppose that data will be prepared during the initialization of the source, and will be transferred from that how it's stored in the source. But it's interesting. Yeah.
Well, this might be a question which we would discuss later on.
Yeah.
As it might or might not make sense, we have to think on it. But Alexandra, thank you very much for your presentation, and I think this is a really good addition to what we already have, as immutability is quite a good concept, which would greatly increase code robustness. And even though it's quite a hard and complicated task to introduce it right now at the framework level, we still thank you for putting effort into implementing it, at least for the store pickup at this point. I'm really hoping that this concept will have a go in the future, and maybe we'll be seeing more and more immutable entities in the new code. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So going forward on the agenda, we have a fascinating story about the pair programming and how Maxim Novik was involved in it, looks like, for the first time. So he will be sharing his story on how he liked it, I suppose.
Okay, I'm trying to share my screen. Is it working?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so as usual, I will not talk a lot. I'll be short enough. So we had a contribution day last Saturday in Kiev, and the user came up to us and said, "Well, we have an issue at MSI, which is one of top 10 bugs. I'd like you to fix it." It was impossible to deny, so I and my colleague Vladislav Podorozhny decided to do it simultaneously at the same time. So what's the problem? There is a case when the product is still in stock despite all of its sources are disabled. The idea was Vlad is working on the solution, on the fix, but at the same time, in the same branch, I'm working on integration test for this case. And of course, this test should fail until there is no fix. It was interesting because, as far as I know, guys from Magento states that such such a way of fixing the problems never worked before because sometimes it always goes wrong. But we succeeded. The solution is just to add this check if there is at least one source enabled. I don't think that it has a sense to show the code right now. The pull request is still in progress because half of Magento integration tests are just failed. We killed Magento. But that was a great experience. Thank you. I finished.
Thank you, Maxim. Well, you see, it's not always a complete success, as some tests are still red, but hopefully you will be able to continue in the same manner and get it fixed. And regarding your solution itself, I'd say it's pretty elegant as well, because this is one of the cases where you could use the validators concept, which is present in MSI, and I think from my perspective, I think it's simplified and reduced the amount of work needed to complete this fix. So thank you very much. Hopefully we will see it merged soon enough, and specifically before the release. So going forward, the next item on the agenda is also a bug fix, and this is a bug fix for the issue which at first we thought is not related to MSI, but apparently it was, and the problem was that configurable product, you couldn't add child products manually to configurable, and I think once we merge the fix, it would be working as expected. So Vadim will be sharing more information on this. Vadim?
Yeah. Hi all. Wait, I'll sharing my screen. It is working.
Yeah, we can see something.
It is working, yeah.
Yeah, we can see your admin.
There is an issue if I try manually add simple product to configurable. I'll show you. Here we can see quantity of each source. If I'll click done, we won't see quantity in configurable products grid. I forgot to check. Here's a blank field, and if I'll click save button, save configurable product button, we will see that quantity of each source will be changed to 0 on catalog product page for each product. Here we can see quantity. If I click save, refresh page, and is blank filled in columns. I'll show my fix. Is it working? Yes.
Yeah, we still can see your screen.
Okay. Nice. I set quantity and sources. Okay. And for this product, I create new configurable product. Now we can see again sources and quantity for each for him. Now we can see quantity as we expected, and if I will click save button, quantity won't changes. Is correct, and here quantity also didn't change, and this is my fix for this issue, and that's all from me.
Thank you, Vadim. I think I have just one question. There is also a replace feature, like when you select one of the generated product variations and you can replace it with one of the simple products. Does that work as well?
Yes. 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 I'll show.
Actually, there is no need to show again. Just want to make sure that it's also supported.
Okay. I'll try again and talk to you. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Vadim. That's really nice.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we can continue with our agenda, and the next on the agenda is Tom with the regular issue of the MSI Quality status updates. So Tom, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, Eugene. Okay, alrighty. So, quality review for the week. Our snapshot as of the last week since the previous update. So what we're looking at here is still got an upcoming release, and the main focus of this week has been around MFTF. That graph has stayed flat, and there wasn't really update changes for 1.1.2, but we want to get that number coming up again. So we're making an effort in that regard. So as an initial PR, we merged 3 tests around credit memo scenarios, which we didn't have much coverage for. So we have some good automated coverage on credit memos now, and we'll build off that for all the credit memo scenarios. There's another credit memo scenario finished, which is yet to be merged. And there are 5 further tests and products primarily around simple product ordering and reordering of simple and virtual products. They're hoping to get in and merged early next week. So we're going to bring that number up further and put together a plan for increasing coverage as we go on. In terms of bugs in the last week then, so we had 9 issues open, 2 of which are closed. So only 2 of those opened issues in the last week were bugs. 1 was closed, 1 remains open, and that's 2188. Which I believe is being worked on currently, but hasn't had a fix merged yet. So we're not sitting on a ton of open bugs right now, which is great. Everything else, automated testing with that increase. We see here that the total number of tests only increased by 1, so we're at 626 total defined tests. The not automated number in orange is coming down because we're replacing that with automated tests, or not replacing. Some of the manual tests are being automated, which brings that orange not automated number down. While you can't see it very well in this graph, that gray automated number did come up from 142 to 145, which is the 3 we added. And then the PR to mainline pending is some broken and skipped tests, just with some MFTF failures, no MSI bugs related to those, but just test failures that we're refactoring the tests around. So also we want that bottom number to track to 0 each week as we get regular merges in, and that grey number to come up, and we have a plan to do that. Otherwise, this is just showing you where they come in. They were S0, so that S0 percentage is increased. We want to keep them in roughly these percentages with more than half an S0, with some further S1 and S2 coverage where it directly comes off the back of S0 tests, obviously focusing our effort there. And as you can see, sales and catalog are the main focus. There's not a lot more automation for configuration. Install, upgrade, web API are not really MFTF focus. Sales numbers coming up with these MFTF automation. Manual testing then has no major update since this is the numbers for that 626 we currently have. Again, sales and catalog being the primary focus. And we have our last full run on the 22nd. We'll hold this here until we get another manual execution run. We'll compare and contrast and hopefully get the rate of failures down and their time to fix down as well. Otherwise, that's it. It's an MFTF focus. It's hopefully going to be for the next couple of weeks. We want to see that line coming up, so look for it next week. And that's everything from me. Thanks, Eugene.
Thank you very much, Tom. That's a good news that we have some improvements on at least on the quantity of the functional tests, but actually we are looking to start some more activity on that front after the release, and mainly one of the ideas is to introduce a bigger library of reusable components, also known as action groups in MFTF, into the future MSI releases, so that everyone could use those in their own extensions as well. So this is pretty much it for this week. I'll just wrap up with the general updates which we have on the MSI track, and the main topic, the release last week's. So I can say we are doing pretty well. We have only 4 tickets, only 4 pull requests we are considering to be blocking the release, and 9 pull requests already merged. I think pretty much all of them were presented on this or on the previous MSI weekly demo call. And some of them are also pretty much complete, but unfortunately presenters were not able to join today's call, apparently due to upcoming holidays in Europe. So stay tuned for next week because we will, hopefully Vadim will show us the evolution of the reservation CLI. He has been working on some refactorings, on some improvements, and on some interesting stuff in general, along with some bug fixes to the command, and this is definitely going to be part of the 1.1.2 release. Also, I think Vitaly Boyko had a few fixes which he couldn't demonstrate today, but again, we'll be able to come back to them next week. I think this is pretty much all from me. And if nobody has any questions, then let's wrap up and have a great rest of the day. Have a great weekends and see you next Friday, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.